So, hello everyone, TikTok, time to rock. Welcome back to Leeation after a very long period of time. Please never mind about my background. I'm staying in my PG, so everything is a mess right here. So please never mind, it's not my home. I'm not staying in my home. Alright, so let's get to the topic. So for sure, I believe you click to this video just by knowing this video topic is totally enthusiastic and interesting to know. Yes, I believe as what you the topic what we're gonna discuss in this video is all about why JetBlue is laying out or cutting out most of its routes at this post-pandemic situation. Well, it's a kind of creepy story. You know why? Because it's a kind of big question mark. Because you know what happened normally after the outbreak after COVID-19, when the COVID-19 has been spreading all across the world drastically, the same as like a forest fire. In that situation, the people stopped using commercial aviation airplanes for their transit purpose, for their traveling, you know, because of the border closures and because of a lot of other reasons. The commercial aviation demand, only because of COVID-19, you know, the demand for commercial aviation has been totally plumbed. Before the COVID-19 outbreak in the world, the aviation industry is one of the booming industry. It's one of the great booming industry where the av geeks like you and me used to boast about aviation to non-aviation people. Hey, you know, especially our industry is booming. Our industry is gonna boom huge and huge and huge. We used to boast about our industry, even amidst our avgeeks community. We used to boast about it, especially these students. Even I'm an aviation student, and I believe some aviation students might be watching it. Even we used to say to some other people, you know, our industry is booming. The demand for the job demand is huge. So for sure, we're gonna get the jobs. But when the COVID-19 has entered into the game, the aviation industry has totally plumbed and everyone's job has become a question mark. I mean, the aviation students' jobs has become a question mark. At the same time, you know, even the people who is working already in commercial aviation, even their jobs has become big question mark. Alright, that's a kind of different topic. But still, you know what happened? Because of the lower demand for commercial aviation, most of the airline, which includes JetBlue, JetBlue is not an exception for it, has cut down most of their routes. Alright, they cut down most of their routes, which is not giving a proper give back to them. Alright, so because of that makes a huge economical sense. Because, you know, for example, if JetBlue is flying between Chicago or Hawaii, I don't know, this is not just an example, alright? Please don't check it out at the Google or in their website, hey, whether JetBlue is operating this route or not. For example, I'm just saying, alright? If JetBlue is operating between, New York and Chicago or Hawaii, okay, and I think Chicago or Hawaii, they're not operating. I'm not sure about that. I haven't checked it out. Alright, this is a totally unscripted video. I'm just explaining the thing, what's happening. Okay, so in that situation, if the passenger demand is much times lower, like if there is like only 10 or 15 passenger wants to travel between these two destinations at each and every single day, in that situation, it's a better idea to cease operation cease the operation cease the operation to fly between these two destinations, because that totally doesn't make any economic sense. Because, you know, one of the major objectives of the airlines amidst the COVID-19 situation is just to save cash, just to make how they resell cash. Because, you know, what happened is, like, the airlines were bleeding millions and millions of US dollars at each and every single day for no reason, because no one wants to travel, use the commercial aviation airplane for traveling. No one is traveling, border closures, because of that no one wants to travel. Because of that, airline decided to ground most of their airplanes and to cut down most of their routes. So in that situation, when the demand is lower, when the demand is totally to a very ground level, it makes a huge sense. Why should we need to cut down most of the routes? In simple, the answer is to save the cost. That makes sense. But now look at the situation. We all know the demand of the commercial aviation industry is recovering, especially most of the analysts from the Western nations used to say. I mean, the aviation analysts used to say I mean, the North American and the European aviation market and the transatlantic market, I mean, is wholly going to be get recovered at 2022. All right, it's going to be recovered at 2022. I mean, at least the leisure market. It's by most of the aviation analyst assumption or the speculation. Again, it's not by everyone. It's by most of the aviation analyst peoples. All right, and all right, so now the industry started recovering and the airlines started carrying more passenger, and some airlines and the airlines started making profit, and they were getting a huge decent revenue nowadays. But at this situation, the JetBlue has decided to withdraw their food from most of the routes. Okay, so this has been a big question mark. While the airlines were started operating to new routes or started operating to the routes where they used to operate before the COVID-19, JetBlue is withdrawing its food from most of the routes. So why this is the case for JetBlue? All right, so we need to get back to a little before history to know everything why JetBlue is doing such a big thing of ceasing its operation in most of the routes. Why JetBlue is cutting its route? If you need to know this thing, first of everything, we need to know a little history. I'm not gonna take you to 1950s. Just 1 year back, all right. So let's go back to before 1 year. Before 1 year, I think that's a fair thing. Yeah. Let's go back to that COVID-19 outbreak. You know what happened during the COVID-19 outbreak? A lot of airlines have slayed most of their routes, as I explained earlier, because it doesn't make any economical sense for them to operate in the routes where it's not giving any decent revenue. At the same time, you know what most of the airlines did, especially the Western nations did, is they also started focusing on some new routes where they don't used to operate before. One of the major reasons why they started focusing on some new routes is because they found these routes they're giving at least some decent revenues. Okay, because letting the airplanes to be ground for days and for months, it's better to make the airplane to fly. The airlines couldn't ground every single airplanes in their fleet. I mean, especially the U.S. airline, because it's a competition intends to market, and so it doesn't make any sense to ground their whole fleet. So their airplanes should need to fly. Okay, their airplanes should need to fly because they should need to be prepared for a huge attack against their competitors when the industry is recovering. So they should need to keep most of the airplane the airworthiness, and also the airplane should need to be airborne very oftenly. All right. At the same time, there is some kind of a CARES fund that has been given by U.S. government, which is a kind of dealings between the U.S. government and the U.S. airlines. Like the U.S. government is very clear. I mean, the Trump administration, the previous government of U.S., the previous administration, it is very clear that we will provide millions and billions of US dollars, that according to the Trump administration, to the airlines. But the airlines should need to operate to the routes where they used to operate before. That's a big topic, or I'm not gonna get into it. But still, this is a rough thing. At the same time, with the airlines' own power, they also started keeping its food in some of the new routes because they found most of the routes were giving some losses. But still, these new routes where they were focusing on newly is giving some more revenue when compared to the routes where they used to operate before. But still, both the routes will give some losses for sure. But still, what the US Airlines has found is the new routes, what they were operating newly, the new routes, what they're targeting after the outbreak of COVID-19 is giving some more decent revenue. So it's better to keep the food on the new route also. So what happened is JetBlue has also played this game. They also keep their food into some new routes, which is not giving a profit, but some decent revenue. Now, decent revenue just means a huge revenue, but still, when compared to some other routes, this is giving some decent revenue, all right? So because of this reason, because of they're getting a little more decent revenue, airlines, includes JetBlue, started keeping their food in some of the routes where their revenue will be a little bit decent, all right? So from early 2020 to still now, JetBlue has added up around 125 new routes. All right, this is a massive expansion. This wasn't the normal thing. From early 2020 to the end of 2021, JetBlue has kept its foot and 125 new routes. 125 new routes, and in that 125 new routes, if you are taking a little more deeper look over it, in that 7 in 10 routes were focused on domestic. For example, in that 125 routes, 7 in 10 routes were totally focused majorly on domestic. It means that JetBlue has opened more domestic routes. JetBlue has started keeping its foot on more domestic routes when compared to keeping its foot on the international routes. Especially, I want to say one of the most important things, JetBlue also started operating to the transatlantic route, transatlantic after the outbreak of COVID-19. I'll come back to that later. Later. Before that, let's focus a little more on the domestic and notable destinations. Or airport what JetBlue were mostly focusing, even in their newly started routes, includes Newark, Miami, Los Angeles, and this is a kind of harder name to pronounce. Raleigh, Durham. Durham, I don't know. Please, I'm sorry if I pronounce the name not in a perfect manner, cause I'm not American currently, and I might won't become I'm not American anyway. So I have never heard of this place ever before some hours. Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing this word. At the same time, moving towards the international routes, JetBlue has added around 37 new international routes, which is connecting to the places of Europe, which is a transatlantic. This is the most unique thing. Normally JetBlue don't use to connect to fly over transatlantic routes, but after the outbreak of COVID-19, they expanded their fleet heavily, and they also started focusing on Europe, by flying over Atlantic Ocean, and also they expanded their new international routes to Mexico, Caribbean, Central America, South America, and Southern America. All right, that's what I mean by South America. And most of these new area geographies is getting served by JetBlue by keeping from Newark. All right, Newark. It's not JFK. It's Newark. Most of their expansion to international expansions, JetBlue's international expansion has been focused hugely from Newark. Of New York. All right. So now JetBlue has hugely expanded its routes massively to get some decent profit. To get some decent revenue, not a profit. I'm sorry. But now, again, we're getting back to the question. After the post-pandemic, now the industry is recovering. Now the airlines will started for keeping its foot again on the routes where they have ceased their operation once upon a time. All right, now the airlines will start focusing on the routes where they used to focus before a year. In this situation, why JetBlue is withdrawing, why JetBlue is taking away its food from most of the routes? It's a big question. The answer is very simple. Why? The reason is because I told you already, because of amidst the COVID-19, most of the US airlines, which includes JetBlue, has started keeping its food in some of the routes which will give loss, but a decent revenue when compared to some other routes. All right, and these new routes, in these 125 routes which JetBlue has recently added up, in these 125 routes, most of their routes has given decent revenue. Somewhat a decent revenue, but not a profit amidst COVID-19 when compared to the other routes. But now the industry is recovering, and now the demand is getting back to the old condition, and soon everything is going to get back to the 100% perfect old condition, not about business travelers, but still the leisure travelers. So in this situation, now the JetBlue's target has totally changed from focusing on getting decent revenue to getting decent profit. When the objective of JetBlue has been on focus, has stand on making some decent profit, it doesn't make any more sense to operate in any of the routes which is not giving any decent profit. All right, so So the most of the routes where JetBlue is ceasing its operation right now is gonna cease its operation is most of the routes where the routes which the JetBlue has started operating amidst the COVID-19 outbreak. All right, because now JetBlue has clearly forecasted these routes which they have newly started before a year is not gonna give any decent profit in any of the future years. So these routes is gonna be only as a cash burners. All right, these routes is gonna make JetBlue to bleed more cash. So it doesn't make any kind of support for JetBlue to make any kind of a profit in near future. So this is the reason why JetBlue is gonna stop ceasing its operation to some of the routes where they were currently operating. All right, so that's it from my side for this video. All right, so this video is totally unscripted. Seriously, I just unscripted it. I just went through something and this idea has been popped up in my mind. All right, so this is the reason why JetBlue is ceasing most of its operation. I started record and I planned out what about uploading it in my YouTube channel, and what about sharing this knowledge, this information to all of my followers. I knew most of the people won't watch this video. Maybe one or two people might be the one who's watching this video, but still I believe for you people this will be a helpful video. All right, I plan seriously now it's 15:40. All right guys, seriously I plan to make this video only for 3 or 4 minutes because I thought there is nothing to speak about it about this particular topic. But seriously, without my expectation, I made this video a little more bigger. But I hope you enjoyed this video and I believe you gained something from this video. All right, so now your question has been cleared. So I believe you got an answer for the question why JetBlue is ceasing its operation is withdrawing from most of the routes. All right, I think I made the question in the wrong manner. I think the question should need to be why JetBlue is ceasing its operation in most of the routes at this post-pandemic situation. Now I made this question in a proper way. So all right, so that's it from my side. That's what about the topic. So now let's get a little personal. All right, so here's one of the most important. All right, so if any geeks you're watching this video, that's it about the JetBlue topic. And now I'm gonna give some channel updates. All right, so if you're here just only for this information about why JetBlue is ceasing its operation most of its routes, and you got the answer for it, and now I'm gonna give some information about my channel update. All right, so if you doesn't want to hear it, you could stop watching this video, but still if you like to, you're hugely welcomed. And well, here is one of the most important thing what I need to say is yeah, one of the major reasons why I didn't upload any videos at this before for around a month is because of my huge study loads, because of my huge academic works. I joined a new college. My academic work is much huge. This college is nearly killing me out. And there wasn't any this is a whole business school and there wasn't any gigs. I couldn't find any gigs right over here. Maybe the aviation stuff, but you know, in my age, in my age, from any other department or in my classroom, I couldn't find any much great gigs who will be, yeah, you know, like my old friends. So anyway, I'm getting all right, but leave that part. All right, one of the major reasons why I haven't uploaded any of the videos the past 1 month is just because of my huge academic works, and even now I didn't have much time to upload, much time to prepare something. So I just went through something, I got some ideas, so I made an unscripted video. But I believe you learned something new from this video, and this video has been a great information for you. And soon I was also planning to upload another one video this week, because this whole week is going to be my holiday, and the next week the class is gonna get started again. I won't get any much time to upload any videos, but again I was planning to upload one more aviation video this week, which is totally awesome, which is all about Indian aviation. All right, I believe that will be a great topic. I believe you will love that video, same as like the way, much greater than the way how do you love this video. So if you really enjoyed this video, make sure to I believe you knew what I'm gonna say. Like, subscribe, and yeah, click that bell icon. I think you knew it. And currently, please don't mind about my background, especially this background area, right? Because I was staying in my PG, and this is not my private room. This is also shared with someone else, and yeah, so you know how the room will be. Please never mind about my background, but I believe you gained something great from this video. So that's it from my side. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon. Above all, if you're giving me a comment, if you're commenting it below my video, that would be a much greater thing. Please comment something below my video. That would be a much greater thing for me. And that's it from my side. Goodbye, captains. Have a safe flight. And yeah, have a safe flight. Please wear a mask while traveling in an airplane and use sanitizer. And remember that tray table is one of the worst area which has most bacteria when compared to the toilets in an airplane. Alright, so act accordingly. Alright, I believe you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.